Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mike Brewer, 31. Yes, two videos in a row. I'm doing this one the night before, so it's gonna be a first look. So, a couple question marks there, but hey, let's get into it. Felt good to do a video. A lot of the information was pretty good there. Even though the ace threw a lefty instead of righty, which I prepared for in the video, I mean, still put up 15 runs, so all's well that ends well there. And if you watched the video yesterday, DK threw out a promotion for the bat flip, the $18 one, if you got 4 home runs in your lineup. And right now, I nailed 3 of them in the video. I told you to play Abreu in the outfield. Pete Alonso had one, and Carpenter I mentioned also. And then I said play Devers or Riley. I played Riley. Um, I know some others played Devers, so they're 4 for 4 there. So I'm still sweating. I got 2 guys going. I still have Riley, the catcher, and Conforto, just because he had BVP. He's actually at 9 DK points, and actually the overall lineup's not doing bad. Um, Overall, it's you're gonna take down the GPP, but it's definitely going to maybe 3 or 4x my $18 entry fee. So I'll take that. Okay, so 9 game slate. It's gonna be an earlier start. There is a 4 game slate that starts, I think, at like 4 o'clock, but we're gonna look at the evening slate. 9 games starting at 6:35 p.m. Couple spots where there might be a little bit of rain, but I'm not super concerned here. So, first game I think is where you really, really want to look for bats potentially in cash GPPs. You have Carlos Carrasco going against Cade Povich, who Carrasco has struggled. He's got 5.26 ERA to start the season. Povich a 5.04 ERA. Got touched up pretty good his last start out. The only issue with the Yankees is they don't really have that many righty bats. They become like left-handed out of nowhere. Jazz is hurt. He's probably not going to be in here. So Goldsmith's probably going to lead off. You're going to have Judge there. Rice and Bellinger, I think they're okay. They could probably hit lefties pretty good. Povich has been pretty bad overall. Volpe will move up in lineup, and then you have Wells in our lefty. Cabrera will probably slide in at third as switch hitter. Grissom's been hot in the lineup, no matter who he's faced. And then Pablo Reyes, who I thought was Pablo Sandoval. I thought the Panda Bear is back, but no. He's bounced around the league. He'll probably fill in at second base, but again, not expecting a ton there. But there's a 10 total in here, so I think you can play some of the Yankees at the top of the lineup. I also love Baltimore, especially lefties here. So give me Mullins, Henderson. First been a little slow start. If you want to pay up for catcher, I'm fine with the stack. If you skip them, that's fine too. O'Hearn probably would skip Mountcastle here and go right to Kerskett at outfield, or do a wraparound with Jackson Holiday. Next game is the Cubs in Pittsburgh. Matthew Boyd, not a bad start to the season. He's got a 2.54 ERA, so I think he's definitely in play here. Pittsburgh with a 22.3% K rate for the season so far, so that's something that you could definitely consider taking advantage of. And let's look at Boyd. Uh, I think he could get you probably about like 15 to 17 DK points. He's got a little bit of K upside here. I think he had the Dodgers last time out and he scored 12. Then he had San Diego and the Dodgers before that, and San Diego and Arizona. So he really has not had a good team to really go out and face. It's been challenging. Uh, Earned runs, he's about 3 in the last 3 outings. But again, he's been good competition, but he's had like 5 to 7 strikeouts. So I think Boyd's definitely someone that you can look for. If you're, I mean, you're really not paying up for pitchers. No 10K guys here. There's a couple 9K guys and some eights. So I think Boyd's in play here. Blood Zielinski on the other side, absolutely not. Almost a 7 ERA. Doesn't go deep into games. The Cubs definitely on the road here, but I think they still will be able to put up some good runs. So, they're definitely probably one of the top 5 stacks on the slate here. The Pittsburgh bullpen is middle of the road, so I think there's some opportunity here. Yeah. Um, Against the Angels, Moldizinski only had like 9.7 DK points. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 5 earned runs the time before, 1 home run. So not going to be touching them. Pittsburgh, I think, is just going to be a leftover contrarian stack. So I think Boyd will get some ownership. But if you want to stack some righties here, Hayes, Reynolds, Bart's cheap catcher here, McCutcheon, Pham, I'm fine with that. Next up, St. Louis and Cincinnati. We have Steven Matz, who is quite interesting because he just came for a relief appearance a couple of games ago. He's their sixth starter. It's kind of like a spot start thing. It's like his ERA, if you look at his numbers, it's not bad. He's 2-0 with like a 1.8 ERA, but and he did put 22 points up against Houston, pitched 5 innings there, 1 earned run, and 5 Ks, but you're only looking at like 1 to 2 Ks for him. Even the games that he went, he's only got a couple innings, like 5 is his most. And then he just pitched on the 26th of 4 days ago. I don't expect much from here. Cincinnati in the Great American Small Park. A little bit chance of rain here. I think it's only like 40% or something. So I think the game should be fine, but keep an eye on it. Wind in 5 miles per hour, so it's not blowing out. But I think at 72 degrees, I can't do Mats. Like you don't, he's not going to go deep enough in the game. He's got a dangerous matchup here. It's not going to touch him. Abbott on the other side is someone that I think that is a really good choice potentially, especially for cash games. Well, he had Colorado last time out, and he gave up 4 earned runs and a home run and only lasted 4 innings. But his 2 starts before that, he went six and he scored 35 points against Baltimore with 11 Ks, and he had 5 Ks against Pittsburgh. And St. Louis is definitely a team that's bottom in K rate, but against left-handed pitching, I think he'll be fine here. Uh, just looking at like some of the individual matchups, I think Abbott's a strong choice here for a pitcher. Uh, might not have a ton of K upside, but I think that he'll get enough to get the job done. And again, like there's no real stud on this. It's kind of a void for pitching, and I think he's one of the safer options here. St. Louis bats would just be contrarian because I think Abbott's going to be a good one. Like I stick with the righties here, so Contreras, Arenado, Baker. Um, Walker's been disappointing. I guess every so often wins back in, but really hasn't done what he did last year. And then you have like bargain basement Guerrero at 2K at the bottom. Like who you really gonna stack against him at St. Louis? Cincinnati, I think, is a strong stack here too. I like probably the righties. So McLean, De La Cruz, Hayes is banged up. If he's in the lineup, I like him. If not, we'll have to see who fills in for him. Marte's a strong steer at first base, and then I don't know, maybe Dunn will move up in the lineup. Trevino at catcher if you want to do a wraparound, I'm fine with. But I'm probably gonna stick with like McLean, De La Cruz, Marte, Hayes if he's in, maybe Steer. Washington at Philly, you've got Jake Irvin and Sanchez. Irvin has been solid, and I know Philly's got a really good lineup, and their strikeout rate's not that great. It's 19.5, so they're one of the lower ones in MLB, so it's not like a great matchup there. But just looking at Irvin for the season, he's been scoring some points in some decent matchup. He's a 3.19 ERA, 31 strikeouts, and 2-0 record here. He just faced the Mets, put up 18.9, faced Colorado at Colorado. He scored 29 DK points. He scored almost 30 DK points against Pittsburgh, 15.3 against the Dodgers. He did face Philly in the first game of the season. He went 5 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs and 1 home run and had 2 strikeouts and 83 pitches. So he didn't score a ton of DK points there, but that's not a bad outing. 7 hits. He's gone 7 innings. He's gone at least 6 innings last four. He's gone 7 innings, 2 out of the last three. So I think he can go deep into the game. I don't think he's Philly's had a great matchup here, but he's not had some good matchups recently. He's getting anywhere from 6 to 9 strikeouts in a game. So Irving, I think you definitely got to look at. We should see the 2 for 30. I mean, it's like he's gone for 30 in 2 of his last three. That's what that means on the board. Philadelphia, Sanchez. I like him. I think he's a great pitcher. It looks like there's going to be a lot of lefties in this lineup here for Philly. So that's he's really solid against lefties. The only problem is like I was so scared because he left with forearm tightness in his last game. He didn't only go in a couple innings, and usually that's an indication of something like that's could be like majorly wrong and like lead to Tommy John surgery, which I was afraid that we'd see like something come out that he was out for a season, but he wasn't bad. He has thrown some since then. They didn't send him for MRI, so they weren't that concerned about it. So he's probably the best one in the mid range here. It's a great matchup against Washington. Even though Washington hasn't been striking out a lot, they're like 18% against left-handed pitching, but they should have a lot of lefties in the lineup. And I don't know. It's just I might leave Sanchez on the shelf here. I like it and everything. I like him as a pitcher. I think it's a decent matchup. Um, but it's going to be 76 degrees in Philly, so it's going to be a good hitting environment, definitely. But I don't know. I just fear that he's going to go out there and he's going to feel the tightness again. And out of the abundance of caution early in the season, they're going to pull him, and he's not going to go out there and be able to make values. So I think he's got to be a fade here. But if you got a feeling on him and you're mass multi entering, then go for it. But I don't think I'm playing much Sanchez, even though I it's intriguing. Washington bats, I think, make a leverage stack against him. Again, I'd probably just stick to the righties, but you have like Rosario, who's okay, Ruiz, who's okay. Like the bulk of the top of their lineup, Abrams, Wood, Lowe are all lefties. Bell's a switch hitter. I mean, Cruz has been slow to start, Young, and then Garcia, another lefty. So, like, who are you really stacking here? Philadelphia, um, I guess I'd probably stick to the lefties up top. Harper, Schwarber, Kepler, maybe Mixon, Turner, Castellanos, but I don't know if I'm going to go full Philly stack for you. KC in Tampa Bay, you have Noah Cameron. Noah Cameron is getting called up from Wichita. There's some their Triple A affiliate. He's only 4K, but he is stretched up out, and this was a planned thing. So he it's not like they're calling him last minute. He's jumping into the rotation because Reagan is injured, but he is 25 years old. He's got a 3.22 ERA um, in 22 innings and 5 starts. So he is stretched out. He uh, he should be okay, I think. Let's see here. His last couple of games. He only went 2 innings against Toledo in the 26th, maybe because he knew it was coming up. They just want to keep him fresh out there. 4 innings against Norfolk, gave up 5 runs, 6 Ks. He played St. Paul back to back twice. One he went 5.1 innings. The second one he went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 5 Ks. So I think this guy's serviceable if you want to punt. Definitely Tampa Bay is a decent matchup here with strikeouts, like a 25%. It looks like he can get some Ks. It looks like he probably could go like 4 or 5 innings here. And Tampa Bay was very disappointing tonight. They only scored like I think 1 or 2 runs. They just kind of really got shut down. So I think if you want a punt, if you want to try to load up with like Yankees or Boston or Baltimore, then he's definitely SP2 potential here. Rasmussen on the other side, I don't like the key matchup here because they're only 18%, but he's been solid to start the season. And Kansas City is a good offense who has potential to be a great offense, but again, they're kind of like some of the other teams we've talked about recently that like San Diego that just don't always show up. And it all depends on what team you're going to get, but Rasmussen has seemed to have been pretty solid. So, and Tampa's got a good bullpen behind him. So, Kansas City, I think, is just going to be a leverage stack for me. I will play some Rasmussen. Um, And then Tampa Bay bats, I think they're probably still the best, cheapest because you're up against a newer pitcher here. But again, they don't book him, they haven't seen anything. I'd probably stick to the righty since he's a lefty. So Diaz, Camilo, Morel, Mead, Jensen, the catcher. Uh, is where we're looking. But they also probably could pinch hit for a lot of these ones and throw the lefties in there if they do bring a righty in. If he is a complete disaster, so I just run the risk of not getting too many at bats there. But they're cheap and they help you try to make a stack work. Next up, Boston and Toronto. Giolito is coming off the IL. He had a hamstring injury in spring training, and he was the disaster last year. He's in triple A. He's got a 5 ERA. There's no way in heck that I am playing him. He's a fade. He has worked his way up to 85 pitches, but I just think he's going to be rusty. If he's giving up 5 earned runs in the minor league, this Toronto offense is another one that could be a sleeping giant. They could go out there and put up a ton of runs against him. So no way I'm playing Giolito. It says Casey Lawrence is supposed to be pitching for Toronto. Casey Lawrence had to come into the game because Boston put up a football score on Toronto, and it was got really ugly. So he had to go out and pitch. So I don't think he's going to be pitching on Wednesday. And rumor is that they're going to go with a bullpen game, and they might have to call Iowa, where their Buffalo AAA team is, and tell them to put some guys on the plane and send them over. So we don't know like how much rest they've had or like what's going on. They're gonna get called up. Um, have to go like all the way to Toronto from Iowa and all on short notice. So it just seems like a disaster. So I love Boston as the top stack here. They've been putting up runs, they've been clicking, and the bullpen was used up a lot last night. Plus, God only knows who's going to be pitching for Toronto on Wednesday. So I think it just bodes very well for them. Toronto on the other side, I love against Giolito because if he's giving up that much runs, then I think that you have a great opportunity to capitalize here. The Boston bullpen is middle of the road, so and the back end's pretty solid, but I think they can get enough runs early to be able to, and they're not that expensive too. They make a really nice cheap stack. Like Guerrero 4.9 is your most expensive one, but everybody else is in the low 4K to 3K range, and some even 2K guys on the bottom of if you want to do a wraparound. So definitely affordable, definitely in play here. Arizona and the Mets. So Corbin Burns and Brandon Weddle. Burns came over from the Orioles in the trade or free agency. Just hasn't been great to start the season. 4.05. Mets have been white hot recently, putting up a ton of runs also in the last couple of games. I think they've scored almost 30 runs, maybe it was. High 20s to 30 runs in the last couple games. Just remarkable hitting, power, everything going their way. Arizona got absolutely shelled. The bullpen got shelled. So, and Arizona has like the second worst bullpen to begin with. So, I'm not playing Corbin Burns. And Weddle on the other end is another interesting one. He's coming up from Syracuse. He was pretty has done pretty good so far down there. Stretched out again. Uh, has only given up 1 home run. Has only given up 4 earned runs. And strikeout wise, he gets about 5 a game. So for another 4K guy, I think that Arizona's probably a tougher matchup than the KC guy taking on Tampa Bay. But I think if you want in consideration, you'll have to see how they're going to play him, though, because they might have an opener or he might just be like the long reliever. But still at 4K, I mean, it might be an option if you go with the two 4K guys and you play any bat you want. Um, but I don't think it's not like we have the Dodgers and Coors to try to like fit in or anything like that. So I think he's definitely going to be something to look at. Arizona bats are intriguing, so they're going to be a GPP against a young left-handed pitcher. So Perdomo, but again, like they're like really, you might see like the same lineup you did with Gurriel and Grichuk in there, and Suarez and Moreno, and they scored some runs, but it wasn't as much as I thought they would. Peterson actually did well. The Mets defense played phenomenal tonight fielding, Uh, Taylor had an amazing catch in the outfield where he just completely laid out for it and snagged a fly ball that looked impossible to catch. So many things going right for the Mets today. Like Arizona, like recently, I just don't think Arizona's really where I want to go. GPP, if you're mass multi entering, definitely keep them in the field. But if you're playing a smaller, need to narrow down your pool, like leave Arizona out today. Mets bats, love them versus Corbin here. Fire up Lindor, Soto, Alonso, ready, and fine. Um, Winker, Nemo, I think got banged up. We'll have to see if he's back in the lineup. Uh, Neal's been okay. Acuna, I think this is a very talented kid. It's the Acuna and Atlanta's brother. He hasn't been hitting for power yet, but like the ISO numbers are there. I think it's just a matter of time. But he's been hitting for contact. He's super fast, steals bases. So at the bottom line, if you want to wrap around or try to fill in a second base void as a one-off, then I kind of really like him there. Milwaukee at the Chicago White Sox. Tobias Myers, I think he's going to be a fade. He had one start to this after being on the IL to start the season, and he was just really rusty. I know the White Sox aren't the greatest offense in the world, but like I said on yesterday's video, they've been pesky. Maybe a little bit of rain here, 42%. So you have to keep an eye on this one. But I think the White Sox, like Benintendi, continues to be okay. Palacios is solid. Roberts is a definitely a Major League Baseball player, just stuck in a bad situation. Cuero, I love having a switch hitter at catcher there, batting like fourth. Vaughn, uh, Thassis, like even Vargas from like the Dodgers, like cast off. If he hits higher in the lineup, there's a lot of potential in this lineup. They're super, super cheap, and they make great fill-ins in a stack where you're trying to pay up for other um, or try to get a better pitcher. So Myers are not playing. Shane Smith on the other side, he's been solid for like a pitcher for the White Sox here. Um, he only has one win, but he's done really well. He played Minnesota last out, went 5 innings, had 7 Ks, clean game, no earned runs, only 4 hits. Against Boston, he had 3 earned runs. That's probably his worst game of the season. But he played them back to back. So he played Boston at home, and then he went to Boston. And when somebody saw a pitcher that close in like 6 day period, then I don't blame him for not going out performing well. He was better in the first one. He only gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Cleveland, no earned runs in 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. And so I think he's definitely someone that you gotta consider here against Milwaukee, who again is you have probably some of the lowest strikeout teams on in Major League Baseball on this slate, and they're another one of them. But I think that he can do enough to at his price points to be able to be serviceable for you for a pitcher in the cheap range because there's really nobody in the cheap range besides the two 4K guys that are coming up from AAA. So I definitely think he's in play as an SP2. If you're in that range, or yeah, you're not. He's not going to be an SP1 by any means, but SP2 solid there. Bat wise, Milwaukee, I think makes GPP. The probably just the lefties. Maybe they'll actually come alive. Kerrang, who actually got buried down in the lineup, and they had somebody hitting higher who ended up, I think, hitting a home run. I forget who it was. But Yelich, Frelick, Jake Bauer, um, maybe throw Churio and Contreras in if you want to, but that'd be more of a GPP thing. I don't think I'm playing any Milwaukee in cash. But like the White Sox, I like them. It's cheap villains, Palacios, Benintendi, Carrero, Vaughn, Dastis. If you need to save a little bit more on catcher, then I think that works as cheap villains. Final game is going to be the Athletics at Texas. You have Severino at Evaldi. I like both pitchers here. I think you have K's on both sides, uh, especially with the Texas side. I know Texas put up 15 runs, but like before that, they've been very kind of underwhelming, and they've been super cheap other than Langford. So both pitchers are in play here. I love like Severino, and then Evaldi if you're paying up. Bat wise, I think the Athletics would just be contrarian stack here. They've cooled off a little bit. They're looking better at home, and I think in a better pitching matchup. And then Texas bats, I think you can take if you want. Severino's been solid, but not perfect. So Josh Smith leading off's good. Jock Peterson's been ice cold, but at 2,400, take a shot potentially if you need a cheap outfielder there. And the rest of the team is going to be like all righties against him. So Langford, I'm fine with righty on righty. Garcia's struggle a little bit. Semien had a good game here, but I prefer him against the lefty. And same thing with most of these. Tavares on the bottom and Heim switch hitters. Like I'd take only a couple of these. I wouldn't play like a full Texas stack. So let's look at some builds and get you on your way for your day. Remember, I'm doing this the night before, so I have no idea if like any information or things going to change. So check the chat if it does, and then I'll try to, if a picture radically changes or something, then I'll give you an update like it did for yesterday. So, Abbott and Severino, where I really want to go here. Like I said, against Texas, I would think there's some K upside there, and then against the St. Louis team that I really don't fear too much. I think Abbott's got a great matchup there. And then I really want to take the Red Sox and because I really think that Toronto is just depleted from their bullpen being used on Tuesday night, and we have no idea who's going to be pitching for them. So give me the Red Sox. They've been clicking recently, and I'm going to fill in with White Sox. Like I said, they're super cheap and they make things work. So Ivana Benetiende, if you want to go with the catcher there too, and then figure out who you want to fill in for second base and shortstop. And then for your GPP, give me Rasmussen. I'm probably going to take one of the 4K guys, either the Cameron or the Mets, and then I am going to stack that first game in Cincinnati. So give me Goldschmidt and Judge. Go out to see who if there's other righties that correlate there. Lefties for Baltimore, Mullins and Gunnar Henderson. Maybe O'Hearn in the outfield spot will work also. And then I like the Cincinnati righties there too. So because I can't really make a full stack of the Yankee Baltimore game, like when the lineups come out, maybe it'll be better. But I just can't find the splits advantage with enough correlation in the lineup that I really feel good about. But I really like Marte and McLean. They usually hit only a couple spots away from each other, and they have the lefty and Matz, and I think that's a really good matchup there. So I think those are some solid bats with Rasmussen as your SP1, and then take one of the 4K guys, and then figure out who you need for catcher and outfield. So that's what I got for you. For questions, put in chat below. Hit me at member 31 on Twitter X. If you want more information on FSi DFS, go to the description of the video and everything is there for you to get into our Discord, and we'll have the early slate covered there. So if you'll get that, you'll get the evening course. We do showdown, we do tiers, and it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's like $3 a day, $15 for a week. So can't really beat that. So thanks for watching. If these videos help us back, like, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. So I'll have to go and check and see if one of my guys hit a home run and if I was able to get my share of the 10 million crowns that DK had up for grabs. And if I see any other cool promotions like that, I'll throw them out in a video too. So, hey, 2 videos this week. Feel good about that. I'll try to see if I can get at least another one in before the weekend. If not, I'll be back next week. So good luck in your contest. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.